I'm getting like butterflies. Oh.
Hey. How's it going,
Let's go.
friends? And we live, baby.
We've been live. They just got to join us.
Right.
We have been live. This is true.
We got everybody up in here.
All right.
Okay, wow, I need to mute myself.
I still hear the echo. Do you guys
Yeah,
hear
no,
that?
that's
Audio
my
is-
fault.
Greg says, audio is so soft. Is Morgan in charge of audio?
It's probably because I have these headphones that are like right next to my mouth.
They're right there.
Whoa, a whole doctor. Nice.
A whole doctor.
What does that even mean?
A whole doctor?
Okay,
Not
I'm
a half a doctor, a whole doctor.
my only concern is I hear myself like 2-3 times. There's a crazy echo.
Really, I don't hear any.
Okay, I fixed it. I think I fixed it. I pressed some weird thing in my audio.
They can't hear you.
Okay, good.
They say that they don't hear you, Mariah.
Oh, they don't hear Mariah. What?
Hello?
We hear her.
We're fumbling.
I mean, this is gonna happen. It happens.
We love it.
It's
Ad source. There we go. You guys hear me now?
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know.
Can't hear the doc.
Yes, they said yes. They said yes. They can't.
Let's go.
Wait, can't. Well, you guys
Can
can
they
hear
hear Jen?
Everybody, can we hear everybody? I think 'tis the nature of a Twitch stream, right? It
Yeah,
happens.
mine
Hear
specifically.
They can't hear Jen. That's what it says. They can't hear Jen.
I think it's just because you're a little low. Do you have like a
Okay, we can hear Jen.
You can hear Jen? Okay, they're good. All right, we're good.
I think
Guys,
she just wasn't talking.
okay. Guys, welcome. This is going to be a really dope hour. We are collaborating with Scrim to Win and Quarters, and they are doing an all-day streamathon. It started at 8 a.m. this morning, goes to 8 p.m. tonight. A lot of Fortnite happening throughout the day, but then like a couple of other things like us, like special guest Dr. Jenn. And yeah, so it's hashtag gamers versus COVID. We are raising funds for Direct Relief, and Direct Relief has created a COVID-19 fund for community health. So basically what this does is it supports frontline responders and nonprofit medical centers across the U.S. They send protective gear, masks, gowns to these centers, and they also just make sure like the doctors and the nurses are being taken care of right now. So that's what we're donating to. So if you want to donate, if you can see at the top, it says text donate to gamer or text gamer to 707070. You can go to the link in the bio that says donate. You could click on that, or you could go to covid.scrimtowin.com and then you can donate there as well.
Yeah, I also have a command charity that Fish just did. So if you guys want to do that as well.
Let's go, Fish.
Fish is on it.
Clutch.
Look at him go.
For the win. Okay, I want to introduce everybody here real quick because we have some really fucking amazing people here. Okay, we have Dr. Jenn Walter, the first female coach in the NFL, first female coach in Madden 20. Yo, she's got her own character in the game, which is amazing.
Type in the chat, baby.
PhD in sports psychology. So she's got the brains. Author of a book called Play Big, which I read, which is amazing. It's very inspirational. And the creator of Gridiron Girls.
Yep.
What's up, Dr. Jenn?
Woo! Heck
Hey,
yeah.
Ass.
How we doing? Hey, I gotta say, it is so good to get this going with the Gone Girls. For anybody who's watching out here, no matter what you're good at, if you're not finding other ways to lift other people up, then you're selling everyone short, right? And this isn't like as much my world, and I'm so happy that you guys have me in your world today. So
Yo, we're happy to have you.
We're blessed to have you.
Yeah.
This is like a subtle clap here.
We're doing snaps. We're doing snaps.
Poetry.
Okay, so you guys all know Erica, vocalist, Twitch partner, amazing, model, gamer. She's been doing a lot more singing streams, and it's amazing.
Which we are loving.
It's so chill. Like, I'll sit there and like have your stream on while I'm working or something, you know, like, and it's
singing
yeah.
along.
It's
I
amazing.
put people to sleep, so I don't know if that's good or bad.
So everybody knows Erica, right? This is her Twitch channel and everything, but you guys all know how amazing she is. And you guys are amazing too. Like, her community, amazing, kind, positive, supportive, great. So all of you guys that are here from her community, we love you. And then we have Morgan below me.
I thought she's below me. All right, I don't know what's going on.
What? On your end?
Brady Bunch? Like, where am I? Hello?
Where is everybody?
You're right, she is below you.
So Morgan, former D1 athlete, fitness model, has done work for Nike and for Finish Line.
Nike, Finish Line, bunch of companies. So we won't
Dude,
go into it, but yes.
A boss. Also an avid gamer, has been hooked on Warzone, kind of got the Warzone bug right now, but she lays it down in Fortnite too. And
you know what it is.
And she's going to be playing Fortnite in the tournament at 5.
I am too, but
we
it's
all
gonna be
are.
Embarrassing.
But Morgan's probably going to win.
100% she's going to beat all
I'm going to bring the heat, okay?
Bring the
how
heat.
I do.
Yes. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay, so that is everybody. Welcome, guys. How are we handling the quarantine? We good? Stay home. Hashtag stay home.
Yep.
Hashtag
I'm a
stay
homebody
home, yes.
anyway.
I think
I love staying home.
I think the gamers like win in this quarantine.
Yeah.
Oh, we are thriving.
So excited.
This one's for the gamers.
It's like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Why don't you go out and do this? And you're like, actually, I'm doing this to save my life. I am staying home and gaming.
I am good.
There are so many good memes about like, oh wait, like now I can finally, like now it's normal what I do like every day. Perfect. Now I don't feel excited.
Guys, hold on. I messed up. I forgot to introduce myself.
I know. I was gonna say, I was like, you're not gonna introduce yourself? Like, okay.
I'm Mariah. I'm the founder of Gone Gaming and the Gone Girls and the Neon Kids. So let me like plug Neon Kids real quick because it's a really dope organization. We got young gamers. So basically we've created a safe space for the younger gamers, you know, to keep them away from some of that toxicity that you see on the interwebs. And we have tournaments. They get to play, get prizes. They get to play with people kids their own age. If you have, you know, younger siblings, cousins, if you have kids and they are gamers and they want to participate, send them my way. Hit me up.
Yeah, 100% do that, please.
Cool. All
right,
right.
so
good.
wait, P.S. though, my mom decided to create this new term called couch potatriots.
Oh.
Couch potato patriots. Because if you're being a couch potato, then you're a patriot because you're.
Oh, that's true.
You're, so she sent me this today, couch potatriot.
Yo,
Anyway,
there's a meme. There's
Continue
put it
on,
a
but she
t-shirt.
put that in the chat right now.
Okay, let's jump.
you
You're on a
make it
Burger
up.
King commercial?
She didn't make it up. It was Burger King.
Good old Burger King.
Oh, your mom just got called out.
Oh, she said it herself, but I thought she was legit. Okay, you could have fooled me, Mom.
Okay. I want to talk to Jenn right now because I think she's got a lot of really amazing things to say, like a lot of knowledge, just has a lot of fucking accolades. So Jenn, tell us about yourself. Tell us, you know, where you came from, how you like made it to the NFL and having a character in Madden. And I know you're such an inspiration for women and young girls because you're doing it on a terrain where it hasn't been done before by women.
Since we're in the gaming world, I just want, this was something that I worked with Madden on and really told them how important representation was. So I'm going to ask y'all, like, what does it mean to you that as gamers, you could go in and pick a female coach, right? Because that's what it comes down to, right? Like, that's the important part. Like, would it make you more likely to think that Madden could be for you? First of all, do you play it? And second of all, would that open up a game, and in this case, Madden, for you, like to be able to have a female character?
Yeah,
Marty?
I mean, I feel like in general, I've never played the game, but I feel like in general, like as like I guess I would qualify myself as a feminist, but I don't want to, like, that's such a like an ugly term for some people, albeit I think that's what I am. But yeah, I feel like any inclusion of a female in any type of game or some type of situation like that would obviously draw me more into it, and I think that's very exciting and more groundbreaking than is currently happening right now. So it's very nice that they've done that. I love that.
and for me, and that was one of the things, right? When I was in the NFL, first of all, like everyone would say, you're living the dream. And even in the opening press conference, like I had to say, actually, I'm not. Like, this is a dream that I wasn't permitted to have. But the beauty of this is now any other girl can grow up, and dream football, right?
Mm-hmm.
See herself there. And I got, emails and letters in training camp and pictures and through all social media of whether it was girls or, now women who once remembered that feeling. They were like, thank you for making me feel less alone or showing that I wasn't wrong to love football. Right. And that's the important part. Right. And so when I was there, the promise I made was like, as the first, the opportunity and responsibility is to ensure you're not the last. And so it's like, you did this thing, right? And NFL and, it's bright lights. And then, everything that I would do after I'd realize how many more barriers there still were, right? Like, you kind of think it'll start to get easy. And then when I was going to play big, when I was going to get my first book published, everybody turned it down because they said women in football doesn't sell. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I was the first. So how many times tried?
Right.
That's what precedent does. And a lot of those decisions are made on what's been done before. And so, Madden wasn't something I set out to do. The way I got interested in really the gaming space is, I think I'm so fascinated with it because it's like a virtual reality that can drive reality, right? You can create characters in a virtual space that may not yet exist in society, but we'd like to see, right?
Right, absolutely.
Somebody an opportunity to run and tackle and jump who may not be physically capable, right? You're not bound by the same world as we quote unquote live in most days. And so I got contacted by a group named Toya, and they're an all-female development company out of Israel, and they do Minecraft worlds, and they're all built on powerful female role models. That's our whole business model. And they say basically half of gamers are girls, and yet there are very few female protagonists. Could we use your football camps, like Coach Jenn's camps, right, as the foundation for these Minecraft worlds? And I was like, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
That's the coolest thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
I remember getting, there's always trolls. It doesn't matter what you do. Right?
Oh my God.
Yep.
I thought you wanted to get kids
They're
out.
everywhere.
Now you're pushing video games. Like, what's that about? And I was like, hey, it's about creating something that the girls could see that they want to be. Don't you think that maybe if they got to play a football-based video game where they were not the exception, they got to rule, right? Like, this place was built for them. This is our world. They're not wrong for loving football. They're right. Don't you think it might create a situation where they're more likely to do it in the real world? See, even Tyson agrees.
Tyson is getting hyped up.
He's like, yeah, Mom.
Oh, Mom.
You come, Mom.
He's our hype man.
I love it.
He does. Come here, Bubba. Come here.
He's like, preach,
Right?
Mom.
And
That's
he
so
is
funny.
just like me. You guys, since he's being bossy, I have to get him. Please.
Go get him. Yeah.
I want to speak on that.
Alvin made a point, by the way. He was saying creating a counterculture. Oh shoot, where'd it go? It keeps. Can you see Alvin's comment?
No, I do want to speak on. Oh.
Where everyone is inclusive, including females, could be important.
Oh, look at him. Hello,
Um,
little buddy.
To diversity in the gaming world.
In his mind, he is XXL.
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
He's a big dog.
I believe it.
I know, right?
He does not realize he's small.
It's I think all little small dogs are just like, "Arr!" Same
Yeah.
with mine. She thinks
They
she's
are.
so bossy.
I do want to speak on the whole representation thing. For me, like, growing up, always wanted to do, like, what I saw somebody who looked like me doing, and I just didn't have it. I wanted to play football growing up, and I couldn't, right?
Same.
I don't play Madden because I don't, anytime I play a video game, I want to play, so I want to have a skin that looks like me. I mean, you can ask anybody that's in my streams or in my chats. They're like, you always play somebody that looks like you. And so there isn't enough like positive female characters in video games out there. So, like with Minecraft, creating these worlds, for girls to show them that like it's okay, really you can do this, because gaming is non-traditionally, like girls aren't raised on consoles. That's traditionally for the boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And so working with that, that's when I really, it opened my mind and really brought me into the power that there is in the esports space, right? Because it wasn't my world, right? Like I was, football and coaching, and this is what it is. And all of a sudden, first of all, it was like, wow, these girls and women are going through parallel paths, right? Same challenges, same opportunities for growth, right? And the importance of having women in those conversations, right? So I met the guys from Madden basically on an introduction from, that Minecraft world. And I sat down with Mike Young and Robin Cowie, and they were the producers and directors of the story mode in Madden, right? And I literally, I'm not lying, I was going over some different zone coverages with them, with pizza, so you know how you can attack the zone, right?
I love it.
That's the place, right? I got you. And, also just so you know, man versus zone coverage, if anybody needs a quick lesson, man coverage is marriage coverage, right? Wherever he goes, you go, right?
Yep.
That's my man, right? And I am a one-trick pony. That's it. Zone coverage, baby, is a little bit different. Okay, we are not married. We're single. You're posted up and you're looking for work. I've got an area. He comes in. He's looking really good. He keeps going. You weren't fine anyway. I'm looking for somebody else.
Next.
Right? And this was the explanation that I gave them, and they're dying, and they're like, "Good idea," right? Like it was like, and they kind of like looked at each other, and they're like, "These what I'm thinking." And so they had already written a character in story mode who's a reporter who was kind of, like, she's like, "No, I do this, right? Like football is my thing. Like don't give me any of that." And they're like, "You could do that, couldn't you?" And I was like, "Ooh, talk football? Yeah, I got you."
Yeah, that's your MO.
Say less.
Exactly her.
Say less.
So I'm kind of like, where is Waldo in this Madden? Because I'm in there twice, right? But the reporter, so I got to do all the mocap, which was super dope.
So cool.
And, record all of it and, do the scripts. And, the reporter role actually changes depending on the decisions you make. So you got to give all the options and that stuff. And got to know all the guys. And then they hired me to consult for Madden and to come in and how we make the game more approachable, because struggles like relative to like FIFA or NBA 2K, which games like the physical games are played more internationally, right? So Madden doesn't necessarily do as well with women and with international like competition. Yeah. Because the game isn't socialized the same. So they brought me in to make the game more approachable. And one of the things I said is like, you need people who look like the people playing your games in them, i.e. girls play this game too, and yet in 20 years they haven't been able to like play themselves.
Yeah.
Right.
They were really excited about having me in the game as a reporter, but it was kind of also like, well, we feel like we didn't get all the way there because you're not yourself.
Right.
So that's when they came up with having me be the first female head coach, and it's in the Superstar KO mode, which is really cool because it actually is a lot like my personality because it's team shutdown. So it's based on we have the best defense. The offense is really pretty basic, but in a fast play mode, you guys all know this, you get a turnover, you're probably going to win. And so there are both guys and girls who are like, that's the only team I play with, right? Like I'm all Coach Jenn, team shutdown all day. And I have kids, I can promise you, that I have met that are like, they don't know anything about being the first female coach in the NFL, but they sure know that I'm in Madden, right? Like,
Mhm.
you're like, oh yeah, she's in Madden, right? I
Mhm.
have NFL friends of mine. They're like, yeah, my kid knows who you are, not because of what you did in the NFL, but because of Madden. And
Mhm.
that's really the power of this space. That's why I
Yeah,
get so
100%.
excited, like seeing a super dope team like this. Like, I'm like, heck yeah, that's what we need. We need girls to see you guys and want to be like you and play with you. And frankly, for the guys, I'm just gonna say this for all you guys gamers, the guys have been my biggest advocates.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think real men want women on their teams. They want them on a level playing field because guess what? If she's good, you want her regardless of gender. And
Right.
you guys all have the chance to be that champion,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
You all can be that person. If somebody's hazing like a female gamer out there, you can change that dynamic. Like, man, I
Right.
want her on
Yep.
the team. Like, have
Mhm.
you seen her throw down? Like, if you're not open to that just because she's a female, you're missing it. And that's what real, like, amazing real men do.
Mhm.
And they
Mhm.
have in the NFL for me. They still do to this day. And, you know, for me, that's so powerful. And I don't want you guys to wait until the point when you have a daughter to be the first time that you think about it. Because then all of a
Right.
sudden, you're like, oh my gosh, right?
Yeah.
Lens on.
Yeah, I think this is something that's really important to talk about because I think like there's a narrative here of us and our allies with guys. Like a lot of my friends are guys. Morgan, I know you were talking about like a lot of your
a lot of
homies
my
are
close
dudes.
homies
Like
are boys.
there is not this division. I don't feel like or
Mm-mm.
there shouldn't be. And I think it's kind of like changing the dynamic of the way that we think about it. It's not like girls versus guys. You know, like let's all work
Yeah.
together to create. You know, to achieve that.
Right.
And you know, it's like I always tell the girls at my camps, I'm like, let your game speak.
Mhm.
Right? That's kind of been one of my catchphrases. Let your game speak louder than your gender, louder than the haters, louder than the pushback, because your skill is what will get you there, right? Because especially in football, I mean, you know, they don't owe you a spot because you're a girl, right? Like they don't. And
You don't want a spot just because you're a girl.
right,
Right.
you know?
I was
that's
gonna say,
true,
don't
right?
give me
That
the
was-
spot just because I'm a
That's what we
girl.
get.
Like,
I think that's what some of them get worried about. And I'm like, that's when your game speaks for you. Because when you're good, they will want you, right?
Yeah.
Like, don't get there and be like, oh, she's okay for a girl. Like, get there and be like, this is a baller. Flat
Mhm.
out, I want her on my team because she can go.
yeah,
right?
she can game.
Mm-hmm.
It took a long time
Right.
for me to get to that point where it wasn't like, oh, she was, you know, good at football for a girl, or, you know, she was not bad for a female coach. It was like, she is a baller and a coach. You know, I got into
Yeah.
men's football by playing, not by somebody saying, oh, like, you know, we need to get a female there. There wasn't one. So it wasn't like it was a gender equity push. Like, I earned my spot every step of the way and still do. And that's
Mhm.
great a lot of the times too, though. You know, like I already know that y'all know how good you have to be because of where you are, right? Like
Right.
you know that you're going to step into those games and somebody's going to win and somebody's going to lose, right? And it's not like, oh, well, I'm going to go easy on her because she has a ponytail.
Right.
Right.
No.
That's a really good point.
I feel
Yeah, I
it.
was thinking about that because it's like growing up, I was the only girl on my block. I was always outside playing with the boys, and like, you know, I had to do the whole thing. Like, oh, if I scrape my knee, like you gotta toughen it up because I'm trying to hang with y'all. Like I'm trying to show you guys, like I can play too. And like I felt like in dodgeball, like I was always the last person picked, but it's because I was a girl. And then once they started seeing, like, oh dang, she has speed. Like, oh, she can carry the ball. Like, or like even if it was just any sport, I was always down for it. So it's great, and I love what you're doing because like what Mariah said, like if I was younger and I saw more women in football, I would go for it. But since I didn't, I went volleyball because I'm like, there's no girls in football. They're not even gonna probably let me try out because I'm
they
a
probably
girl.
wouldn't have, honestly, from
You
the
know,
desert.
so-
They wouldn't have.
Yeah, so I was like, well, I'm just gonna go volleyball then because I'm athletic. I gotta go somewhere in fall sports. So
Oh, sport. Cross country.
yeah, girl, no. Girl, no.
I'm like, oh, no, not that one. See, I just tell people like, I am really fast, especially when I get to tackle somebody at the end. Like there has to be a reward for that.
Yeah, that's a good reward.
Right? Like, I get to tackle people when I catch them. So I'm going to catch them, right? Like that's a good reward. You would like that. And I already know that you would all respond to that carrot.
That sounds fun.
Everyone should learn how to tackle. Everyone should have an opportunity.
I think that's a good point, actually. Yes, 100%.
And a chihuahua that thinks he's a parrot.
So can we kind of segue this into now being those positive role models, like how we can do that? And, you know, because I know that, okay, so we were talking about this, you know, there isn't just one seat at the table, right? So now that we are in this position, you know, how do we become that positive role model? How do we make space for other women? How do we encourage and support one another instead of, you know, being catty or, you know, things that like, I don't know, we're typically coined to do.
Yeah, we're like raised to like be competitive with other women, which is just a bizarre circumstance.
So bizarre.
And
so bizarre.
You just have to cognitively just like push that out of your mind and like just encourage each other. Like, you know, like even if it's streaming and playing games and just rating another girl, you know, and like just encouraging that, sharing your community, being positive about people. It's difficult when that is how we've been raised, but that is, you know, ruining the stereotype. Yeah.
It is hard. And, you know, I know for me, like in sports, you learn how to be a good team player, right? Like the greatest thing that we have is like in football, you can see it, right? Like you look out on the field and it doesn't work if we all look the same, right? You need everything from straight hustle to straight muscle and a whole lot of crazy, just, you know, crazy, right? All of us working using our different skills and abilities to accomplish the goals that we want to get to. And so here we are, right? 4 powerful, amazing women with different talents, and we're putting them together in a way to create greater impact together for a cause than we could have apart, right? And that's what it's about, okay? Like coming into y'all's world, like I'm like, these women are amazing, right? And it doesn't make what I've done or what I do any less amazing, right? And as we amplify each other, that's when, you know, you get things like different sponsorship deals coming in and saying, you know what, we want to support female teams, or, you know what, we do want to see female football camps, right? Because we then, as influencers, and our voice starts to carry some of the weight in terms of reach that the guys have, you know, and that becomes really important, you know, and seeing brands put females who are out there doing it in positions of influence, right? In terms of signing them as, you know, or, you know, using them as endorsers, right? Like those things matter, right? And you know, it's funny because, of course, you know, you're Nike, Morgan, and I'm Adidas. So 3 stripes up. I know y'all.
Get out here.
Y'all gonna fight.
But the good thing is, the thing that killed me years ago was watching when Under Armour signed Tom Brady as their guy face and his wife Giselle as their female face. And I was like, okay, she's gorgeous, I get it, but there are so many female athletes who putting into that position. Let Giselle do something else. She's gorgeous, I get it, but let an athlete be out there.
Right, absolutely.
You know, I love the fact that you know that Nike was smart enough to have you as one of their people, right? And we make different brands, but that is something that all brands should be doing, right? Somebody who's out there doing it, and that's what we want to see, right? For Adidas to sign me, that was the first time that a female in football was signed as a football asset, right? Wow. Like, so just like
big deal.
That's awesome.
You know, I am a Adidas football asset, right? And when they put out, you know, things like that become powerful because when they put out like, it was 2 years ago, the Super Bowl in Atlanta, they did like this comic, and it had Juju and Pat Mahomes and Snoop and a bunch of people in there, and like these cartoons, and they had Coach Jenn, right? So playing this, like, you know, it was like this game right? It was like the best flag football game that ever existed, and they hyped it up, and it was done all in cartoons. And in it, the coach was a female, right? Like those things, when brands do that, it changes so much because everybody who sees it, it resonates.
Right.
These are the things that we can do and help with each other, by supporting and amplifying each other. It's going to make all of us more attractive to the brands that are relevant, right? It's not
right.
Right? That's the cool part about it.
I agree.
Awesome points.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about
Puppy.
something that I'm
Hi,
really
Kato.
like fascinated by. And so, like I said, Jenn has a PhD in psychology, and I, as as the owner of my company, as somebody that has to take on a leadership role, I always like to think about different leadership styles, right? I think empathy is something that we overlook a lot in leadership, because it's looked at as an emotional thing, and I've been told I'm too emotional as a leader. But I think it's like I think having empathy, I think being able to communicate with people on a human level makes you that much more effective of a leader. And I wanted to get Dr. Jenn's thoughts on that as well.
Yeah.
And everybody.
And you read my book, so a lot of it is really on the importance of coach-athlete relationships and valuing the individual. So yes, you're consistent with certain things, right? Like say the consistency becomes, anybody who's late to practice has to do X, right? And that doesn't matter who that is, right? Because people a lot of the time say, how do you balance the individual versus the team, right? Because you can't just treat them different. Okay, so we have standards for everybody that mean being a good teammate, right? And that's what it is. And I'm not going to be mad at you as a coach if you were late. Come tell me why. But this is still what we're going to do because we all do this together, right? Like that's just what it is. But in terms of understanding people, right, that is one of the most valuable things that we have, right? Coach-athlete relationships founded on trust are the things that allow us to do things that most people would assume are impossible, right? Like think about, a linebacker, for example. A lot of the times we're telling them to hit a gap that isn't even there yet. You're going to run at this full speed, and trust me, because of what the D lineman in front of you is going to do, it's going to be open.
Right.
If I know that you as a coach have my best interest at heart and you tell me that, I'm going to hit that hole, no hesitation.
Right.
If I think that there are ulterior motives, or you're not being 100, or some of those things, I might half step. And in that, because I half step, not get there and execute the same way, right? So empathy, which is just the ability to walk a mile in someone else's shoes or play a game in their cleats, is neither male nor female, but for some reason we tend to think of it as being a softer side. It's called emotional intelligence. There is no capital more valuable than your human capital, right? Point blank. No game is played, no game is won, nothing is executed without the people. So taking time to understand them as individuals is one of the best things that we can do as a leader, right? Like, and I remember, in my book, when I was writing it, there's a part in there that, they were saying like, oh, maybe she did this because she was a woman, or, she did that because of this. And I wrote back, I'm like, empathy is a leadership trait, period. It's not a female trait or a male trait. Yes, a lot of the times we associate it with women because you're talking about the emotional importance. However, it is so important, and especially now, right? There used to be a lot more authoritarian leadership, and that's what people were taught they had to do. But we're a lot smarter now. Through research, we've learned that there is more than one way to coach. There's more than one way to win. And one of those developments has been the value of individuality and realizing that diversity is a strength, both in your leadership ability and in your team. So what's funny and why I get asked about empathy so much is like, when I was getting ready to coach in the NFL, everybody's question would these guys take coaching from a woman, right? Mm-hmm. One of the roughest, toughest games, and arguably one of the roughest, toughest positions. I coach inside linebackers, or like we're the hitters,
right?
Ones,
let's get it.
Trenches, right? Like this is what we do, right? This is not a contact sport; it is a collision sport, and we are the that you don't want to
and
meet.
We are down,
right? And we are the ones that you don't want hitting you, right? Would those guys, would they lose an edge if I was there, right? Would they get soft? Would they listen, or would they just shut it down? And the story that came out of training camp that actually made national news was that I left notes in my lockers of my life.
I love this.
Now, I'm going to tell you, those notes were all really just me reflecting on the things that we talked about, right? It was like, hey, I need you to own your huddle. Every time on the field, you leave no doubt. For one of my smaller linebackers, it was like, hey, you don't have to be big to play big, use your leverage, blah, blah, blah. Everybody has their different things because it's a nervous time for anybody. And I wanted to ensure that the voices in their head were mine. Because I knew what I would say, right? And I had the equipment guys put the notes in their lockers, and then we go on about the game. A couple of the guys beforehand were like, "Man, coach, I really appreciated those words," and I'm like, "Cool, not the worst coaching decision in the history of the NFL. They don't now hate me.
We're getting somewhere,
like, but it's done, right? Like it's over." Until after the game, a reporter came up to me and she said, "History was made tonight, University of Phoenix Field. For the first time in the history of the National Football League, a woman took the sidelines as a coach." And we heard from one of your linebackers that you did something very special. You left notes in their locker, which you care to comment. And I was like, no, I would not care to comment, right? Like, I thought the locker room was like Vegas, and y'all sold me out. But
you're supposed to have my back.
Right. It turns out that one of my linebackers, and really the guys were all very appreciated, but one of the linebackers, Kevin Minter, who was our captain, had told the reporter, because he said in his entire football career, he'd never had a coach care like that. And it resonated with him so much that he wanted people to know. I even chastised him about it later. I was like, "Kat, you kind of sold me out with that." I thought we were in the inner circle. And he looked at me and he folded his arms, hopefully not over a chihuahua, and he said, "Coach, that was special, and they needed to know." And I was like, "Yes." Well, you own your huddle then.
Gonna own that huddle now.
Right. And it was so interesting because like guys will always say like the way she knew what we needed or communicated with us, right? It was so special. Like one of my linebackers, I saw a video the other day from the Alliance League, and he was like, "Oh yeah, like the stuff she knew and how she would talk to us and just knew us so well, like it was like she was cheating because like she had the degree and everything. Like it was fair." Right? And so really just knowing your people and taking the time to know what they need is different than just quote unquote emotion. And I think that that's where people get confused. It's like, I'm not like going out and deciding that I'm going to, spend $1 million because I just feel it in my gut, or I've got, no, this is about like, I got to know the individuals on my team. And, I looked them in the eyes and I was like, "Man, are you all right?" Like, what's going on?
Right.
Like, you're not like yourself. Oh yeah, coach, do you have a minute?
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Amen to that.
right, if your mind is worried about something at home, it's not going to be great here.
Yeah.
Right.
You as gamers aren't 100% in your world. If you're worried about something else, your game is going to be off.
Yep.
So
Facts.
a good coach is going to help bring you to where you need to be, and that's what empathy does.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that, like I always say, if you can teach, right, like if you were a gamer and you wanted help on something, the first thing I would do when I was coaching you would be, you have to take me into your world. You have to make me feel what you feel and experience what you do. Otherwise, I'm throwing darts at a board, right? I'm playing a first-person shooter game, and I don't even know what the gun is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, be very accurate, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you want me to help you, I can, but you have to trust me enough to bring me into your world so that I can help you be better.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the core of it, right? And I always say, like, how can you lead somebody if you don't know where they want to go?
Right. And even more so, like, where they came from too. Like, we were talking about this yesterday. Like, let's say all three of us were your athletes. You're going to probably coach each of us different, because some of us may respond better to certain types of coaching versus not, or, you know, whatever. So
Yeah. And you know, as athletes, it's good to be able to, you know, say what we need. And it's hard because, you know, we're taught as athletes, like, game face, right? And I'm sure you guys are too, like, never admit fear, never admit weakness. And so then how do you express what could be perceived as a weakness? And that's when I say it has to go back to trust. It has to go back to the fact that I value you as an individual, and my job is to help you and make you better, right? And we trust each other, because as we get to know each other better, that not only in terms of skill set, but also, and more importantly, in terms of, you know, this skill set and this skill set, then we can always get each other better.
right.
Yeah.
100%. Is there anything in chat that people have been saying that?
Yeah, I was actually gonna see if anybody had any questions in the chat.
Avi's loving it. He's like, Dr. Jenn is literally writing my whole poker book, talking on the stream. This is
Yeah, this is like, for me, this is golden.
People are loving it.
Yeah.
Well, you just tell them, like, I'll come help you with your poker book. I consult on stuff like all that all the time.
He would love it.
There it is.
I do. I love, I think this stuff is like puzzles, right? These are human puzzles. And it's so much fun to figure out. Like, why wouldn't we want to figure out how to be better together? And, you know, learn somebody else's world? Like, that's when you get me, like, I'll get geeked out in a heartbeat, and I will go into that hole of, like, right? Like, let's go all in. And let's
Fucking go.
right?
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Quizman had a question. Are you still coaching?
So right now I am focused on my girls camps. We've done 35 girls camps across the country, which is crazy to me.
Amazing.
That's so
cool.
sick.
And like, even yesterday it was yesterday. I did like some agility training on the ladder on my floor that I was telling you about. And it was with the LA Bobcats. So that's one of the women's teams out here. We had women from the San Diego Rebellion. Both of those teams play in the WNFC. And then we had at least 4 girls flag teams over on the East Coast. So we had like the best women in the game and the future, and we were all doing agility stuff together. So my focus right now is really helping the girls movement. Flag football is a varsity sport in 4 states now. My goal is 50 states.
That's so badass.
I love it.
I would have been all over.
Wow.
Yeah, so you could be a varsity athlete with flag. The next step is to get it to be a college sport with scholarship, right? There's no reason why not. It's a great Title IX equalizer.
Right.
It has huge international play. So there's a lot more international play in flag than there is tackle. And a lot of that is the cost factor. You don't have to buy pads and a helmet and have 50 3 people on a field, right? Like you can play 5, 6, 7s, even 8s. And I think I want to see flag football an Olympic sport. So I am working with groups across the country to help facilitate, right? I was talking to the Rams just the other day about what they want to do with girls. It's May. I would have been back with the Chicago Bears this month doing our 2nd annual camp, help launch the flag program in Tampa. We're working with Alabama, just a bunch of different states. So really moving the needle for the girls right now is my focus. The last full-time coaching job I had was in the Alliance of American Football, which was the pro league that started the year before the XFL. So I was there for the rapid rise and epic demise of that league. And I might have a little football PTSD from that.
Oh boy.
Wow.
Just might have a little, because it was the most intense football experience ever. Right? Think about this. We had all rookies, right, to our system. We had 30 days as a coaching staff to come together, put the playbook together, do all the installs for training camp. And then we had 2 weeks to put football games on the field. Like our first preseason game was in 2 weeks with all rookies. And our first regular season game was a month after that. And so it was...
That's nuts. That is nuts.
Beyond 24/7. And then we all got fired on Twitter, basically. So
on Twitter?
Yeah, like we found
what
out
a Twitter firing.
Yeah, like we found out on social media. I'd already the coaches had already broken down the tape for the next game, which is how you know that we didn't know, because that's a whole lot of work, right? Not have done that just because. And so we were at practice and we finished, and I didn't have my phone on me, and some of my players, my D linemen, were like, Coach, did you know about this? And I looked at it and I was like, do you think I would have broken down the film already if I knew about this? You're right. So we all found out together. And
wow.
Didn't even get to finish the season. Like,
how disappointing.
Yeah, it was really tough. So
we had a lot of
on the girls, but always somehow involved in football.
Yeah. All right, we got another question.
We have like 3 questions.
We have 3 questions?
Can you tell us the title of your book first? Because Dark wants to buy your book.
Yes, it is called Play Big, Lessons in Being Limitless from the First Woman to Coach in the NFL.
Yo, I read it, guys. It's amazing. It's inspiring. Like, it makes you just want to go build an empire. I don't know. It just makes you want to get off your ass and just work. It's good.
And just FYI, if you are an audiobook person,
audiobook is
So if you like this raspy voice, then you can listen to me tell.
Also, Jeff was wondering if you play any other video games.
I have not played video games in a while, and I think I would have absolutely been a gamer with y'all if it was social. Because I played tons of video games when I was a kid, and I was far
online.
Right? But it was offline, and nobody in my family would play. So it was like you're up in your room by yourself, and and so I remember totally all of the Super Mario Brothers, I would get it and crush it until I beat the whole thing, and then I'd be I loved games ridiculously. I had the fight games, all of them. Then it was I'm by myself when I do this. And that really was the reason why I stopped playing. And
drifted away.
I know without a doubt, if games were like they were now, I'd be one of the Gone Girls.
You are now. You're officially. You're an honorary Gone Girl.
I'm gonna send you a
for
shirt.
Sure. I'll get you some cool merch and everything. All right, we have.
One that, if you ever have one that is the sacrificial lamb that might get killed off.
No.
You'll be the bait. We'll bait you out. That's what we call it. All right, we have another question. What makes you different from other coaches, apart from your incredible ability to, it keeps
hold a 45-minute convo and make it feel like seconds from the amount of powerful knowledge that you have. I forgot. I lost the rest. But yeah, it was something like that.
Oh, wait, no. Let's finish reading. I have it over here. Okay. Apart from your incredible ability to hold a 45-minute conversation and make it feel like seconds from the amount of powerful knowledge you share, you're truly an inspiration. That was from Kintsugi88. So, yeah, what makes you different from the other coaches?
You know, I think it's really, I mean, there's a couple of things. So I've been a teacher in one capacity or another for a long time, right? Like I first got certified to teach aerobics when I was 18. And I was like trying to get my friends' moms to not just do the treadmill, like to try and do like an exercise class or this. And, you know, so I'd be breaking things down. And that coupled with, you know, really learning how to see what different people needed to move and how to help them adjust. That was kind of a foundation. And then playing in women's football, you know, first of all, for those of you who don't know, I am as giant as you think in my mind. Right? Like I always joke and I'm like, in my mind, I'm XXL. However, in reality, that might be youth sizes because I can fit in kids' clothes. I'm all of 5'2", 120 something pounds, right? So I was one of the smallest players, even at a big position. And so I couldn't outbig anybody unless they were like 10. And now 10-year-olds are getting big. So I might have to go like down to 8. But I could never outbig anybody. So I couldn't rest on anything less than great technique, right? So things like leverage and, you know, ripping underneath somebody, getting my heel to heel depth to be able to not be blocked by an offensive lineman, squeeze down and then break for the quarterback, right? Like all of those things had to be perfect or I would be like, and learn the painful way. So taking that like attention to detail and then being able to teach it in an approachable way, I think was just something I was good at. I mean, there were a lot of times, even when I was like in the NFL, and for example, I mean, we had a guy on our staff, he coached in Super Bowl I, okay? If the Cardinals were Super Bowl when I was there, that would have meant he coached in 1 and 50. Now, I know a lot about football. I don't know all that he knows. There's no freaking possible way, right? Be straight up. But he would say stuff sometimes that the guys would be like, and I was good at taking what those really complex things were and like saying, okay, all you need to do is this. Why didn't he just say that? I'm like, let's just say this is what you need to do. And then when it would work, right? Like they would come back and they were like, coach, that worked, right? Or looking at things differently. You know, I was very good at playing small. So here, trust me on these things, like I can help you with this. And making sure that everything that I said added value, not just talking to talk, right? I remember one of my favorites, you guys would love him. We were at, when we were in Atlanta, at that time, I was coaching the linebackers. We had a guy on our team, his nickname is Chief. He's 6'7", so there's a big reason for that.
Whoa, dude.
But yeah, he's giant. And yet his get off was too high. So he's such a big guy, he should never lose. But if you come off the ball high as a defensive lineman, then you lose all your leverage. So then the O-lineman could own it. And he kind of had a reputation from some of his other teams on being wasn't open to coaching. So there were other coaches on our staff that were like, no, you can't talk to him. Like he might like flip out like to each other. And I was like, I think you guys have this guy wrong. Because here's a big gentle giant who I've watched FaceTime with his little baby girl. I think this is just not right. Yeah. And so one day after practice, I was like, Chief, can I help you? And he was like, Coach, what's up? And I was like, your get off is way too high. And that's why you're getting beat. You should never get beat by these guys. Like, it's not good. Your pad level is not good. And he was like, well, why didn't somebody else say that? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not going to talk about them, but what I'm going to say is that I can help you.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to promise me that you'll do everything that I tell you to do. And he was like, well, what is it you want me to do? I said, that's not what I said.
Yeah.
You have to promise me that you will do what I said. And he was like, all right, coach. So here's a gamble, right? This man is 6'7", 300 some odd pounds, and he's coming off way too high. So what I made him do, I stood directly in front of him and I said, you have to come out of your stance and pick me up. And he was like, coach, I can't, I would kill you. I said, not if you do it right, you won't. I said, but if you do it wrong, yes, you will kill me.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? And he did it. And at first we worked like where he had to come off and he would shoot his arms under my arms.
Right.
So
I was gonna say, yeah.
Right? And then as he got better, he literally had to pick me up under my hips. Yep. And so we would work that, and I actually figured out he was better. And he told me, right? And we figured out, because I made him get off and do it on both sides. He was better at getting off on one side than the other. So we worked the other one additionally. And he had to literally do that drill, like picking me up, putting me down, picking me up, putting me down, all the way down the field, like and back. And I'm like, if you're too high, it's going to be way more difficult. And he could feel it.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Trying to tell you something, it's going to feel more difficult if you're too high. And also, if you get lazy, you're going to kill me, and then nobody's going to help you. Right?
I'll be dead.
Interesting, because not only did it get caught like on video, which everybody just like, my coaching buddies, like
Funny.
One of my coaching buddies was like, I hate you. And I was like, why? He's like, it's such a good technique. And I'm 6'4" dude. I can't do that with my players.
Yeah. I can't do that.
Right? You can't, I can't. So I think really being a coach is owning what you have. And that was something that could work. And when Chief got better, the other guys were like, Chief, what you been doing? And he was like, it's Coach Jenn. Right?
Yeah.
Right? And when one of the guys will say that, guess what happens? Right? All the other guys want to do it. And I'm like, and they're like, well, what have you been doing? And I was like, do you want to show them, Chief? And he was like, yeah, I do. Go. The other guys were like, I can't do that. You'll die. And Chief goes, not if you do it right, she won't. And
Right.
Okay.
Oh.
Okay.
You know, but things like that, you know, it really is about not trying to be somebody else. Like I tell people all the time, I could not have coached like these other dudes, right? What am I going to go toe to toe and yell with your belly button? Right? Like we are not toe to toe, chest to chest like these other coaches. In fact, it's not better or worse. What it is that hopefully on a staff where there are a lot of different personalities with a lot of different abilities, something will be right for everybody and at different times.
Yeah.
And feel cared for, and they know you're going to give them everything that you got. And that I would say, like any one of my players, not even just with the position group, they know if I can help, I will. And you can call me anytime and I'll be there. Because that's just out.
Love it. Okay, we have time for one more quick question. Rolling on the floor laughing copter 6 asks ask her about the Bucks. What are the chances for them to go to the Super Bowl with Tom Brady and Rob Gronkowski?
Oh
Man.
Well,
I'm a
Good
Patriot
dude.
fan, so I'm just gonna say that my feelings are really hurt right now, but I'm glad the boys are back together. That's what I am happy about. The boys are back together.
I mean, here's the thing. You know, obviously I know Bruce Arians and a lot of those coaches on that staff, because that's who I was with in Arizona. I knew when Bruce Arians came out of retirement to go to the Bucks that he felt like they were close to a Super Bowl. Right? You don't come out of retirement if you don't feel like a team is close.
Yeah.
Right.
And you know, he has an amazing coaching staff. You know, like my mentor Larry Foote's still there, Todd Bowles. Like there's a lot of really good talent. And taking Tom Brady and putting him there, you can tell the Bucks are committed to all in for the Super Bowl. Right? They are holding nothing back. They would love to be the first team to host their own Super Bowl, right? Because the Super Bowl's this year. So
That'd be sick.
They are absolutely going all in for a Super Bowl. My biggest concern on that team, and they have done some to address it in free agency, is their offensive line. Okay, Tom Brady is not particularly mobile.
No, he's not. Oh my God.
He's
He
not.
has to be protected.
No.
There
Sacked
were
a lot.
27 sacks from the Patriots. Tom Brady was only sacked 27 times last year. In contrast, Jameis Winston was sacked 47 times on the A team. And Jameis Winston is a lot more mobile than Tom Brady. So you've got some problems with that. You can tell they're going to protect him more, though, because they kept OJ Howard. So look for them to do a double tight end set, which obviously will make it harder to get those quick blitzers off the edge. And it'll keep them a lot more honest. But they really do have to come together with that offensive line, because I remember a particular game that I was at when the Saints were playing against the Bucs, and I'm telling you what, the Saints defense tore up the Tampa Bay offensive line in a way that I was like, okay, I'm a defensive girl, and I'm like, yeah, and then I'm like, oh, the quarterback's my friend.
Oh God, yes.
Right, like, and so, you know, they are definitely all in going for the Super Bowl. There are a few teams that are going to be really freaking tough this year, but you can tell they're all in for Tampa Bay. And remember, Bruce Arians has been the offensive coordinator of several Super Bowl winning teams when he was coordinator with the Pittsburgh Steelers. But he's never won one as a head coach, and I know that's got to be on his bucket list. So they'll be going after the Super Bowl 100% in Tampa Bay this year.
Can we do this one last question?
Let's do.
I was gonna say, I also have a question that came from my phone from someone who's watching.
Guys,
but
I mean, how much time do we
after.
have? We can do more if you want. I mean,
yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so go ahead, Morgan, and then we'll get to.
Okay, so this is coming from just from people who have been watching, texting, whatever. He wants to know, what is your advice for people who didn't get to do a pro day? Because you know, with this whole COVID thing going on, like there wasn't really pro days happening, and people are like making films and trying to send it to whoever, you know, like what is your advice for that?
Right. Well, if they were on the radar, they've already been on the radar. And so it would definitely be different if they were invited to the combine or not. Because you know, if they were on the combine, hopefully they competed. The pro days, I would think that pretty much the teams have set something up to be able to, because you would have to, right? So there has to be a process. My suggestion would be, especially if you're with a reputable like college program, make sure that you talk to your position coach, right? And or your head coach, whoever does the outreach normally between the scouts.
Right, makes sense.
Like, how can I make sure, is there anything I need to do, you know, and kind of really follow that chain, because the coaches have great relationships with the scouts, and it's hard on the scouts too. Like I have friends who, you know, are in the scouting world, and they're like, you know, we're on Zoom calls and we're, you know, connecting with coaches and interviewing players via Zoom. So it is happening. But you need to make sure that like your coaches are communicating that, and that you're communicating with them that like, hey, we've got to do this, and check in, be like, hey, I was going to do pro day. Are you in contact with scouts? Can I do a workout? Or are we going to do, like, ask those questions.
Right.
Coaches and scouts are definitely in contact right now. So find out the best way to do it. And, you know, if you're on the radar, you're already there, right? Like you are already on the radar. You generally, what happens with pro days and combines is that like it adjusts your, you know, do you pass the eyeball test, or have you come back from an injury, or, you know, some of those questions. So it gives them a chance to answer those questions, and it may change, you know, oh, I like this guy better than this guy, but they've already seen your tape, right? So make sure that you're in that conversation, talk to your coaches. Again, you know, people have already seen the tape, so you're not going to likely come into the conversation if you haven't been there. I mean, those guys are paid to know everybody, right?
Right.
They have, you'll have regional scouts who go and watch the games and break it down. And even if they had like, these were my 3 main guys I wanted to see, like if somebody flashes, then they'll do additional due diligence, and then they put that together and present it to like the main scouts and the GMs and stuff. So if you're on the radar, you've been on the radar. It's tough that you didn't get the pro day because it allows somebody to see those workouts in person. But good scouts have been keeping up around that. So make sure you talk to your coaches and ask them what you can do and how it's being communicated, because I guarantee there's communication. I'm just not on the scouting side, so I don't know directly, but your coaches are your first best line of defense. Because remember, all of those
great advice.
Right? All of those schools, think about this. It is in their best interest to have guys go pro, because then it increases their draft cred.
Right, exactly.
If I'm looking to get kids to come to my program out of college or out of high school, then part of what I'm using to bait them in is like, I got this many guys at my position group to go pro.
Yeah.
Right.
Best interest. So make sure you talk to them.
Cool. All right, one more question.
One more question, yeah.
This is from the McVillain. Hi, Jen. Thank you for joining and sharing your story and experience. As a 49ers fan, I'm interested to know what your relationship is with Katie Sowers. Have you provided any guidance or advice to her that aided her journey to the NFL? Great question.
Email, I love that question.
Yeah, great question.
So Katie is a friend. She's also a former teammate. We played together on the 2013 U.S. national team. So I was on it in 2010 and 13, and her and her twin sister, if you didn't know.
Awesome.
Yes, they're twins.
Cool.
And really, Liz still plays, so Katie was, and Liz is, 2 of the best in women's football. And so it was interesting because we had a very vicious rivalry for a long time. I have tackled both Katie and Liz many times, and they have caught
fun and games.
my heart, right? Like that's what I like to say. Like I have tackled them, and they have caught balls on me, right? I have had to cover them, and had all of those wonderful experiences. But when I played for Dallas and Kansas City were rivalry teams. We played each other regularly during the season. And so we went from being fierce rivals to all of a sudden in 2013 being teammates. Which is really, really a cool way to see it. And so the funny thing is, and I don't remember if it was Liz or Katie who reached out, but when I got hired by the Cardinals, like the way those dynamics work is, you're not allowed to talk to anybody unless it's via the team, right? Like in terms of media. So there's no like scoop, right? Like you do a press conference, they pull aside interviews and some phone interviews, but like you can't just talk to reporters and stuff. Not that you would have time, but so when people were really trying to figure out more about this story, sorry, the sun is getting really awkward, but when people were trying to figure out more about the story, 2 of the people that they ended up reaching out to were Liz and Katie. And either Liz or Katie reached out and sent me a message like, hey, well, we got asked if we would do this interview about you since we were teammates. Is it cool? Do you mind? And I was like, nope, I don't mind. You should absolutely do it. Just make sure that in the process of doing it, you open the conversation to all the amazing women in football, right? Like don't have it be about me, but be it how we relate to each other and how this relates to the game, right? Because, it's for them to get so micro-focused. We can open this conversation out. And it's the interview is still somewhere online, which will crack you up if you ever read it. But it was like, what did they say? They're like, she was a nightmare. She was that person you didn't want to play against for a long time. And then when we met her, it's like, you know, you kind of hate her. And then when she became a teammate, she's like this funny, like, person who's really friendly and like loving, and like it was really shocking. Right? And so, you know, they're like, it's the person that you hate to go against and love as a teammate. And I thought, gosh, what a great compliment, right? Like I read it and I was like cracking up. And so it's awesome to me now to see Katie really doing her thing. And, you know, people are like, will you open the door? Like, do you feel, and I'm like, I opened the door, yes. And to me, the best compliment for that is to see women who are teammates and people that I love going in and doing their own thing, right? Like, earned every step of the way. Yeah. Yes, I opened the door, but everything after that, that's Katie. It was
all her, yep.
And it is so awesome to see and to know that, like, you know, your teammate is doing her thing. And one of the things that made that possible, and this is actually in my book, so Katie's in my book, you know, just like a shout out, right? And this was one of the really cool changes that happened as a result of what we did in Arizona. What most people don't know is that I was actually brought to Arizona through the Bill Walsh Minority Coaching Fellowship, which was set up traditionally for African-American former players who were underrepresented in coaching. And Bruce was like, well, you're the ultimate minority because
in this game,
right? Because of what we did in Arizona, the NFL then changed the Bill Walsh Minority Coaching Fellowship to the Bill Walsh Diversity Coaching Fellowship, and hired longtime football person, like, you know, she's been a woman who's been moving the chains on the other side. She used to be with USA Football, but they hired Sam Rappaport as basically to lead the charge to increase opportunities for women in coaching. So those things happened as a result of what we did in Arizona, and the women who are now getting these opportunities are like coming because of that pipeline that was developed. And that, you know, started there, but now it, you know, it has a life of its own, which is fantastic.
Yes.
Okay, I have just one more, and I think this can be for everybody. We can maybe each take a turn answering, because I think it's a really good question. But Jenn, whose work ethic inspires you?
Ooh, gosh, you know, you can't think work ethic without thinking of like Kobe Bryant.
God.
And I think if everybody in this planet had a little Mamba mentality, we would be we would just be in a better place. So his work ethic inspires me. And then a woman who particularly inspires me, because that was always a challenge, right? There was nobody I could look at and say, I want to be her, because there wasn't a female in football. But a woman in sports who inspires me for how she has continued to move the needle and has been doing it all the right ways for a long time. And she's multidimensional. And one of my very best friends is Nancy Lieberman. Nancy has been such a champion for so long, and she just impacts everything, right? She was a head coach 2 years in a row for Ice Cube's Big Three. The first year of the league, they won, and she was a coach of the year. She coached in the D League. She, she played in the D League. She has charity and impacts community. She does analyst stuff. And long before I knew her and could call her a friend, I thought of like I want to be someone in football that is kind of that person, right, to the sport. And so she inspires me all the time.
Awesome. Morgan?
Wait, repeat the question again. I got so
just
lost
like,
in hers.
Who,
I was just
I know.
so into it.
I was like, damn.
Like, wait, what are we talking about?
Yeah. The question
general,
was,
right?
yeah, who inspires you? Or yeah.
So, I mean, I grew up as a track athlete. So, I always looked up to people like Allison Felix and then Serena Williams and even like Marion Jones, for example. But then when that whole thing went down, I was just kind of like, oh, wow. Like, a lot of people can have these times where we kind of like fall apart. And then what I learned from that is like, we have to find it from ourselves to really get somewhere ourselves. Like, so for me now with like being a fitness model and whatever, I have friends that are in the industry and I look up to, really for me, it's like female athletes. Cause it's like, when I do like Nike commercials or certain things, it's like my end goal is to like be eventually like, if we're like best case scenario would be like a Nike fitness trainer, like be one of those like fitness model girls where it's like, this is the Nike girl. So I always just try to look at those girls like Bettina Gozzo. I don't know if you guys know who that is, but she's like a Nike master trainer, Tracy Copeland. I met a few of them, and these huge just trainers are just amazing people. And they kind of meshes my world of modeling and like athletics, where it's like, okay, I can look up to people like Serena Williams, who's always been one of my like idol athletes. And I played a little bit of tennis, but just the way that she holds herself, how she is very emotional. And I love that she is not afraid to be emotional. She's not afraid to open her mouth because, like that whole issue, I don't know if you guys ever watched it, but like she was just kind of frowned upon for speaking her mind on a missed call or whatever. And people were like bashing her because she was a female and speaking up to a male judge or a male, court guy. But I'm like, I love that she isn't afraid to do that. So I always inspire myself to be more honest with myself and more people be like, this is what I'm doing and this is what I'm gonna do to do it. If you stand in my way, like I'm gonna have to run you over to get there because this is like I have to get there one way or another. Because I believe, yes, we can have people around that help us get there, but the only person who's really gonna get us there is ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So
that's true.
That's it.
Engine your own
Thank
way.
you, thank you.
Unapologetic.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I'm with the shits. No, it's fine.
Girl. I guess for me, I mean, so specifically you said was work ethic, which that inspires you, which I think is a little different from like someone who's talented or something that inspires me. But I mean, honestly, you guys are super inspiring for how badass hustler women you are, and I love that. Each and every one of you are very unique in what you do, and it's very exciting, I love that. But also like Beyonce is a work hustler. Like, she is a freaking hustler.
We love Beyonce.
And honestly, like as much as I love Beyonce, it's not like I follow her that much, but I know that her work ethic is absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
So I know that's such like
no, that's like such a good answer. I think for me, work ethic, somebody I was inspired by growing up as far as athletics go was Pat Summitt. I always like looked up to the Tennessee program. I played, college basketball and everything. And so like that's kind of like what I wanted, like my dream as a kid and everything. Amazing. Winningest coach in college basketball, men or women, like fuck, it's insane. But I think that I'm truly inspired every single day by people like you, by women that are passionate and driven, and they're going out there and getting stuff when it's not being handed to them. That shit inspires me, like sitting down and having these conversations. We've all had a couple conversations here and there throughout the week. It just makes me want to do more, so I love it. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. Dr. Jenn, you're amazing. This is like, this knowledge is golden.
Yes.
We're gonna definitely put this up on YouTube for sure. The VOD will be there and everything. I have to say a couple more things. So I want to talk about the charity again. To donate, text gamer to 707070.
In the chat.
There's a donate button in the bio in the chat, or you could go to covid.scrimtowin.com and you can donate there. And lastly, I would like to thank the sponsors of Gamers vs. COVID, which are Logitech, Razer, and Tokyo Times. Oh, so and the grand finals for the Fortnite tournament is at 6:00. There's some really dope prizes.
Can't wait.
Provided by those sponsors. Also, at 6 o'clock, we will be back here with Cat Won't Clutch and the Gone Girls. And we're just going to be having a good...
What if Morgan makes it into the finals?
If Morgan makes it into the finals, we will have her gameplay on stream. And we will make drunk commentary. And we'll shoutcast. We will shoutcast. Yeah.
Shimmy. I'm just going to shimmy it.
Shimmy. So Cat Won't Clutch will be here too. Guys, this was amazing. Honestly, I'm feeling so inspired. You guys are amazing. You guys can go ahead and plug yourself right now. Do it. Yeah. Erica, Twitch.
Well, y'all on my channel already.
We're on your channel.
That's my channel. Hi.
You guys already know me as Model Morg. You know what it is.
Wow.
That's me. Twitch.tv/ModelMorg _ Morgan Pope on Instagram. I think you guys already know what it is, but
yeah.
Dr. Jenn, what
just
you got
in case for the newbies.
Yes, and I'm Welter47 on Instagram and JWelter47 on Twitter. When in doubt, look for Welter. Like
it pops up like first Welter. I think,
yeah.
And and the good thing is that it's God's irony because I've been punching above my weight class my whole life. Like I'm not even heavy enough for my own weight class. That's the thing.
I love it.
All right,
so
guys.
much, you guys. Thanks,
much
Jen.
love to everybody for your questions. Everybody's amazing. Love it. Love it.
Bye,
all right, guys.
Tyson.
Throw the deuces up. We'll catch you later.